Good morning, everyone. My name is Rudy Page, and welcome. I'm pleased also to welcome our guest on this dialogue, Dr. Dwain A, who's the chair of Reach Society. Good morning, Dwain.
Good morning, Rudy. It's fantastic being with you again.
Great. Right, this morning we're going to talk about the Reach Society Recognition Awards, which are going to take place on Saturday, the 29th of October, towards the end of this month. So, Dwain, before we talk about the awards, for those who may not have heard of Reach Society and the type of work it does, could you give us an overview and also your reflection on this year's activities? Thank you.
Happy to do that, Rudy. Short overview of Reach Society for folks who haven't heard of us before. We were founded in October 2010 in order to encourage, motivate, and inspire young people to develop themselves in order to make viable transition into adult life. Three people co-founded it: Donald Palmer, Rob Neal, and myself. And we were keen to do that because we realized that as the adults in the community, we needed to step up and take responsibility for inspiring our young people. And by our young people, I don't mean the 8 children we have between us, but I mean collectively the young people in the modern Black community in the UK. A little bit of reflection about what we did this year. We saw, when we started 2022, as the bounce back year after the 2 years of the virus. And we organized 5 large inspirational events across the UK. The first one was in March, and we went to Manchester and collaborated with a local group there and impacted quite a few young people. And I will talk about the type of inspirational event in the round at the end. Thereafter, we were at our annual Careers Conference in London, in Bloomsbury, and had quite a large turnout of over 800 young people involved in that. We moved on from there to Luton, where we had our pilot employability day, collaborated with the Luton Borough Council, and had a large event there with lots of firms and lots of role models. We were also invited to a school. In fact, I can name the school Newman Catholic College because they're proud of the fact that the headmaster had seen our careers conference twice, and he wanted to expose all of his students to that experience. So with 850 students, we were taking them through an employability day in Northwest London. We moved on from there to collaborate with Imperial College because they were fully aware of our inspirational events. In fact, they had participated in many of them, and they wanted to roll out the Black Graduates Careers Conference. First time they were doing that, and they wanted our expertise and experience in order to help them do that. And that was a fantastic event, again in June, 23rd of June, on the day when there was an RM train strike. But notwithstanding the train strike, we still had a lot of young people who were undergraduates or recent graduates from the community who experienced it. So we are extraordinarily pleased with the way things have gone this year. And of course, it feeds directly into the Recognition Awards event that we're having on the last Saturday of this month, and I'll say a little bit more about that in due course.
Excellent. Great overview. Sterling work as usual. So, as you mentioned the Recognition Awards, could you tell us what you've got, what plans that you have for that evening on the 29th of October?
Yeah, the Recognition Awards is all about one thing. It's about the society saying thank you to all of the firms who've taken part in each and every one of those events I've already mentioned. And thank you to all of the role models who volunteered to support each and every one of the events I've mentioned. And so we have been doing recognition awards for as long as we have been rolling out careers conferences. And so on the night, what we're hoping to have are a lot of representation from those major cohorts, and also folks from the community who are supporting our event. And as one would expect of a dinner followed by dancing, you know, there will be really good food. There will be messages from a number of our guests who have already lined up. And for folks who've not seen the flyer, there is a flyer on the Society's website under the label Recognition Awards. And we have, in no particular order, Dr. Nelda Freighter, who runs a clinic in Harley Street, and she's been a big supporter of ours. We've got Richard Mayer, who is a former president of the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, and he has been supporting us now for 3 or 4 years. We've also got a young man whose name is Jonathan Crawford, and he is an executive director at Goldman Sachs. And of course, we have the pleasure of having Professor Sir Jeff Palmer, who will be giving the welcome address, and he's one of our patrons. So those are the 4 chief speakers. There'll be other people giving other messages, but they are the 4 that we know will be giving the big messages. So that just gives you a bit of a taste of the awards.
Excellent. So in a sense, you've given us really what the main purpose is and who's going to be involved. But could you tell us why it's so important to have such an event as a recognition awards?
This is very much part of the way Reach Society looks at things and thinks about the work it's doing. We feel that as a social enterprise, it is essential that we say thank you to everyone who supports the inspiration events that we roll out, because it doesn't cost very much to show your appreciation. And it helps those people who are supporting us to realize that we appreciate what they're doing. The volunteer role models, they don't have to give their time, but they do. And they do it year after year, and they're doing it in increasing numbers. The firms, you could also say they don't have to do what they do, but they do it. And we know from their perspective, they are always on the lookout for viable situations where they can connect with young talent within the Black community, showcase their opportunities to them, sign them up to things that they are mutually interested in. And we have lots and lots of examples where young people have asked firms about things they're offering, got the confirmation, and have gone on to do things with those firms. So it's absolutely important that we say thank you. And we will always say thank you to people who help us to impact our young people in this way.
Okay, that's great. So beyond the participants and the role models that have been supporting Reach Society, who else are you expecting to attend, and who else is invited, I guess, also?
Yeah, well, let's just run through 1 or 2 names. Some will be familiar to folks listening in, some won't be. But we're delighted to have Sir William Atkinson, who, as some of you will know, is a former superhead of the Phoenix Academy. He is now in retirement, but we were delighted when a fortnight ago he contacted us to say, I spoke at one of your events more than 10 years ago, and I'm delighted to see that you're still going. I'd like to come with my partner and my daughter with her husband. How can I get tickets? So he will be there. Yeah. And there are a number of other folks. You know, there's a lady who has been heavily involved in the vaccine awareness. She lives in Birmingham, but I know she's come in because she's actually confirmed firmed it and has secured her seats. So we've got folks coming in from outside of London. You know, I've mentioned Birmingham already. I know we have a cohort coming in from Luton, including possibly 2 or 3 elected representatives from Luton Council, because Luton Council has been heavily behind the event we rolled out there, and the councillors, I'm sure, will support what we're doing. And within London, we are delighted to say there are a number of firms and individuals within those firms who are making a point of not just coming along because they've been involved in the event, but getting a number of their senior people to come along as well, so they can have first-hand experience of the work that's going on. And so, you know, Lloyd's of London will be there. Arab UK Limited will be there. Credit Suisse will be there. And there are a number of universities who will also be supporting what we're doing. Durham University folks will find on our website, we have been working with them for 5 years on an innovative program called Durham Step. And that's about attracting talented Year 12 Black students to go on the summer school in that August university. And from that, they will gain first-hand understanding of the value that Durham University can offer them. And what we are seeing now is almost 80% of all of those young people choose Durham as the university of choice and go on to study there. So we also have Anglia Ruskin University, who, as folks will know, they have campuses all around the country. They are big supporters and they're coming. And for folks who may not be aware, but you know, the Met Police and Bedfordshire Police, they have been supporting our events and they will be there as well. But you know, we are enormously proud of the community because Reach Society has really good relations with a number of community organizations. One which won't surprise you, my friend Rudy, RAFA. RAFA will certainly be there because they're active in our events and we're delighted to have them. Enfield Caribbean Association, we support them and they will be there. And of course, LBEN, folks will know them as the London Black Educators Network. You know, they've supported our events, we've supported theirs, they'll be there. And there are lots of parents who have come to our events, recognize the value added, and they're coming along with their family members. So it's quite a nice mix of people who have some engagement with what we're doing.
And I think also what's important and to be commended in what you're doing now is the institutional expansion of your work, because significantly that's what we have to do. It's ensure that this work is recognized institutionally, and the greater impact on society, on those who are making decisions as well, to understand that, you know, within the African and Caribbean communities, this next generation, this third and fourth generation, they need to contribute to the pathways that people such as Reach Society are now constructing into those institutions, so that we reduce the underserved and the structural inequalities that exist. So, you know, you've really got to be commended for your work.
Rudy, you make a good point about the institutions and the role they play. And it matters so much because for those of us who have been eyes open, ears open, and have been looking at how things go in the UK, they won't be surprised to hear me saying we live in a qualification society. And if folks understand the true meaning of that, they will know that it is absolutely essential that young people are fully literate, fully numerate, and by 16, they have a clutch of GCSEs. By 18/19, they have a clutch of A-levels. By 21, 22, they have at least a degree from a good university. And once they are at that stage in their qualification journey, all of the employers, institutions in the public sector, firms in the private sector, large employers in the third sector will be interested in them. And so that's where the institutions can make a difference. But for that difference to be realized in our community must play its part. We need to ensure that seeking knowledge is not just 2 words on a page, but it's a lived experience across our community. Because I would now put on the table, Rudy, what I'm now calling the Neil Doctrine. Notice I'm calling it the Neil Doctrine.
I'll take a
And
note
the
of
Neil
that.
Doctrine is combining 2 sayings which everybody will have heard. Seek knowledge because knowledge is power. Separate them. Everyone will have heard knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will have heard seek knowledge. But for me, the Neil Doctrine is bringing those 2 together. Seek knowledge because knowledge is power. And if we embrace that doctrine and apply it within our community, all of our young people will find a viable place within the United Kingdom. Institutions are looking all the time for talented young people to employ them, to develop them so they can do well in life.
Absolutely. And, you know, again, with the work that you're doing, Reach Society, you really are unlocking the gates, which is essential within these institutions. And at the end of the day, it will be about talent. And if it's not one institution, there's another institution, because we live in a competitive world. So the opportunities are there. Excellent.
Always. It is about connecting the talent with the opportunities.
Yeah.
And I would say from our experience, we do not have any difficulty in having viable conversations with institutions and ensuring that they understand what we're doing and why we're doing it, and we understand what it is they offer. And we then communicate that to our young people, and they experience it firsthand through our inspirational events.
Excellent. And finally, Dwain, where will the awards evening be held, and how can people get tickets?
Yeah. Last question first. The easiest way to get tickets is to contact the Society via info@reachsociety.com. Address any inquiries to either myself, Dwain Neal, or my fellow co-director, Donald Palmer. It will arrive at our inboxes and we will respond. Where will the event be held? For the first time this year, we are going to be rolling out the Recognition Awards dinner at the Park Plaza Victoria Hotel, which is just 3 minutes walk from Victoria Station. And I can say this without fear of contradiction, it's easily the most luxurious venue that we will be hosting our Recognition Awards at. The Victoria Suite and the Beatrice Suite that we will have on the night are simply fabulous. Now, for folks who know the hotels, they'll know I'm not overstating it. And for folks who don't know the hotel, once you've experienced it, tell me how you found it.
Yes, it is a very nice hotel indeed. Excellent. Yeah. So thank you very much for that, Dwain. And we shall talk soon. Thank you, everybody.
And of course, Rudy, you are going to join us, we know. So we look forward to having you with us on the night. After all, we are recognizing you along with others for the outstanding work you did during those 2 years of the pandemic. And for folks who don't know what I'm talking about, look up MCW, and you will see on the website an awful lot of stuff via YouTube that Rudy has produced to help us. So thank you for that, Rudy.
No problem. Thank you all. And of course, we're talking about Reach Society Recognition Awards, which are taking place on the 29th of October 2022. And you can go to reachsociety.com website for all the information that you need. Great. Thank you, Dwain, and take care.
Yeah. Thanks, Rudy.